Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. It is Monday, November 27th, 2023. So we have about a month before Christmas. So keep that in mind as we move forward and go through this evening together. Um, this is a little bit different, I guess, approach to the live stream. As you all know, I canceled last week, and I know I've been doing this pretty regularly for quite some time. And last week, even today, I'm still not 100%. I still have a little bit of a cough, a little bit of sinus stuff going on. But last Monday, I was in no way going to try to do a live stream, and I also really didn't feel like doing a live stream. As you all know, anybody that's here, you know what the current situation is with this car sitting behind me, Slither. And 2 weeks ago we were doing a live stream, and we had good interaction with everybody, had plenty of comments and told stories, and just enjoyed spending time together talking about cars and stuff. And during that live stream, Charles had been on the live stream. He had shared information. As he normally did, he talked about what he was doing with the car, what his plans were, what we were going to do with it moving forward, and that was the last time that Charles interacted with any of us. So he wasn't feeling quite right after, I think even during the live stream, wasn't feeling quite right. And I don't know if can't remember if he was all the way here to the end of the live stream or if he had dropped out early. And from the conversation I had with his wife, he felt like he could lay down and, maybe feel better in a little while. She had told me, and I already knew this, that he didn't sleep very well at night anyway. I can tell you that I would get texts from him at 2 and 3 in the morning. A lot of times I didn't notice it because I had my phone on vibrate, but I knew, from when the text arrived that he was up and in doing something or thinking about something and wanted to share information. So he had, laid down, anticipating watching the live stream in completion later. And that was it. That was it. That was, that was the end of everything for him as far as that went. From the conversation I had with his wife, he went peacefully in asleep, which I think we can all appreciate that, to be honest. I would much rather go out in that situation than to suffer for an extended period of time. We've all seen it. We've seen, maybe parents or relatives deal with whatever, being in a retirement home, unable to take care of themselves, all those sort of things. So, maybe this doesn't sound quite right, but I'm giving Charles a bell for going out without having all that. I hope that when my time comes, I don't have to languish in some home or be suffering for an extended period of time. So I'm grateful for that from that side of things. So, we're going forward with some of the project. There has been a change in plan. Charles was adding in or doing a lot of things to this car that may be a little on the extreme side, let's say. And apparently that's what he wasn't letting his wife know that. So I think from our standpoint as husbands, a lot of times we don't talk about, hey, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Well, they may have disagreed had they had that conversation. So at this point, we're looking at going back to more of a stock configuration for this car. The difficulty is I've already done some things to it that take away from. I mean, it's already mostly a Dynacorn body anyway, but adding the mini tubs has really taken away from the original style or aspect of it. And we're probably gonna maintain those. If she wants me to undo the mini tubs, I guess I can. It would be pretty extensive and difficult to undo what I've already done. So that makes it more of a challenge as well. But it's her car now, and it's what she wants to do with it. So she's having to go through, I know, like his phone records, his emails, contacts that he's had, and try to figure out what she can stop from being ordered or completed in the process. So yeah, and I don't know the status honestly of the engine he had, the original engine. I don't know if it's a good engine or not. I have no idea. So there's a lot to digest in this process. So as it's been, I really haven't been doing much of anything out here for the last couple weeks. I just haven't. I've mentioned that I went down to his funeral, and I felt I owed that to him for being involved with this whole process. I did talk to members of his family, and I talked to his wife quite a bit, and that was good to have that event and be part of that. So things are going to have to change moving forward, and how that ends up, I don't know just yet. As I've mentioned on my Patreon, and maybe in the other video that I did, the intent was for me to do all the sheet metal work and get it ready for somebody else to paint. So we're still, I feel like we're still on that path, but that may have to be adjusted as well, because I don't know who he had in mind for painting. I don't know, there's still a lot that's going to be discussed and is up in the air at the moment. So, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at, and that's about all I can really go with at this point. It's very unfortunate in many ways. I know he had a dream. It was his dream to build this car the way he wanted it, and again, I guess I could say grateful that he laid down with that thought in his head, that he was, working on this, getting this car built the way he wanted it. So I can only assume that was his last thoughts, before he passed away. So anyway, that's where we're at. So, okay. Moving forward with tonight, we're going to have, we may have Robert on later. We're going to just talk about whatever you want to talk about. I mean, there's, I don't have, since I haven't been out here doing stuff, I don't have a lot of stuff going on in my head beyond this conversation we just had. So let's see who's here tonight, and we'll see how tonight goes. How about that? So first in, Ed Cucciarella. Hope all are doing well. Let me give you a better bell. There you go. Hope all are doing well. Glad you're here, Ed. Rick Gain. Weather forecast tomorrow has snow flurries. I'm definitely not ready for that. The Mustang went under the cover for the winter. Hope everybody is doing well. Glad you're here, Rick. Yeah, it's been cold here in Georgia, and it's going to be cold the next few days for sure. And then this weekend, my wife and I had planned to take the RV out for its first excursion with some other friends, but it looks like it's just going to be raining the whole weekend. So we're going to probably pull the plug on that and not take the RV out. It's just not worth it. Go somewhere and set up in the rain and then sit in the RV all weekend. No, not a pleasurable experience. Leonard, evening all. Hope all had a great Thanksgiving. Yes, we did have a great Thanksgiving, and we celebrate here with my wife and our kids and our grandkids. Of course, all of our families up in Pennsylvania, and we just don't get a chance to make that trip, especially with all of our kids now being adults and having their own lives to deal with. So glad you're here, Leonard. Dave Tyson, good evening, all. Good evening, Dave. It's our first Dave sighting for tonight. Steve Grimes, good evening from cold South Central PA. Yeah, I'm sure. And it's cold enough here, and I don't want any of that. Rick Stevenson, good evening, everyone. Evening, Rick. You know, got to spend some time with Rick at Moultrie, and it was a good time. First time I've been down there at that swap meet. It was a Sunday we went. I posted pictures of it on Facebook. It was a good time. Michael, howdy from Kentucky, where the toothbrush was invented. Probably a good reason for that. Glad you're here, Mike. Terry Keithley, hi, Barry and all. Please hit thumbs up and like. Thank you kindly. Thank you, Terry. And Jerry checking in from the Money Pit. Good evening, all from Middle Tennessee. Sorry I cannot attend. I need to prep for triple bypass surgery tomorrow. Yes, we've talked about that, and I'm really hoping everything goes well, Jerry, as we anticipate. So glad you're here, and you may watch this later in recovery. So Michael says, prayers for you, Jerry. Robert, evening all. The leaves are finally changing color and starting to fall. Well, that's interesting. All of ours have pretty much fallen here. Pretty much. Robert's talking to Jerry. Car Guy Troy. Hi there. Hope everyone had a good turkey day and all is well. Yes. Thank you, Troy. Rusty checking in. Hello, Barry and all from chilly, Southern Indiana. Thumbs up all and prayers for Jerry. Yes. Yes, that definitely. Roger checking in from next door. Hindsight 6-7. Greetings from next door, Jerry. I hope your surgery goes well and you're able to recover quickly. Yes. Nick Moss is checking in. Hope it goes well, Jerry. Hello, everyone. Hey, you know, I have to give Nick a shout out for making that video for that Foreman Fiberworks spoiler or wing on the back of his car. You know, Nick hasn't done anything video-wise, and we went back and forth a little bit with sharing, you know, some of these snippets of video and trying to make it work, and I think it turned out pretty good. So shout out to Nick for the effort in putting that, helping me put that video together. And the car just sounds amazing. It really does. I'm really impressed by the whole thing. I love that car. Tommy from the Busted Knuckle Garage. Hello, checking in from Alabama. Great Thanksgiving. Ate way too much. Yes. Well, you know, one of the things that I always look forward to after Thanksgiving is my wife's turkey rice soup. And that's what she made tonight. So I've had 2 bowls of turkey rice soup. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Nandu, hi all. Hope you're doing good and had a great Thanksgiving with your family. Thank you, Nandu. Glad you're here. Brian, hello all. Going to be a different chat tonight, I suspect. Yeah, a little bit different. That's for sure. Glad you're here. 68 Orange Crate. Howdy from Houston. Hope all had a great Thanksgiving. Glad you're here. The Dawn. Greetings all. Jerry's Garage. We're thinking of you. Thankful for Monday nights and cars and coffee. Thank you, Dawn. Whoops. Here we go. Richard Byrne. Good evening, everyone. Even cold in Florida. Yeah. I am not a fan. Ever. Evan's Garage. Hey, all. Hope everyone is well and had a restful holiday. Jerry, hope your surgery is uncomplicated. And Barry, I'm sorry to hear about your friend passing. Thank you, Evan. Glad you're here. Ray Buckman. Good evening, Barry and guys. 40 today after a couple of days of teens and snow. You can have all that. I don't want any of it. Glad you're here, Ray. Crash Letter Jerry wishing you a speedy and successful recovery. I don't know if I noticed you here before or not, but there you go, Crash Letter. You also get a bell. Ray Buckman, best wishes and prayers to Jerry on a speedy recovery. Crash Rider, everyone be sure to hit the like button. Yes, please. Nick, I would leave the mini tubs be. I can't tell you how many times I've had people ask me if mine was actually tubbed. They look very stock. Okay, I mean, I'm with you on that. The challenge is, you know, it's a Cobra Jet. Is it going to be worth it to go backtrack? I don't know. Nick says up to her. I know. Yes. Marine, just curious, can you buy the car as is and finish it yourself with parts already ordered? I mean, that's a possibility, I guess. I'd have to see what she wants to do with it, honestly. Um, there's a lot involved. There really is, because on one hand, she appreciates that it was his dream and his car, and she wanted to go for a ride in it and all that sort of thing. But on the other hand, it was his dream, it was his car, and she was going to go for a ride in it. That was kind of the gist of it. So it's not her dream necessarily, but she knows where he was coming from with at least part of that dream. So we all get connected to these vehicles one way or another. I still have my grandfather's 31 Model A sitting in my garage, and it's going to stay in our family one way or another. It'll stay in our family, and whether that's with my kids or my sister's kids or something along those lines, I don't know yet. But that's we all get attached to these things, and I don't know if that would be in the cards at all, because I probably couldn't afford to buy it from her for what he has invested in it, if that makes sense. So we'll just move on from there. Glad you're here. Nick, the only thing that might be a kicker to the tubs is that the rear seat frame will need modded a little, nothing too bad. Yeah, I haven't gotten that far to look into all that stuff yet, but I've heard there may need to be some mods made. Evan, if y'all want to talk seat risers, that's what I'm working on now, tweaking them to lie perfectly on the floor, but the stamping has a slight twist in it. Yeah, unfortunately, some of those aren't the best. Steve Willett, good evening all. Still warm and sunny in Southern California. Well, that's a plus. That's a plus. Steve, I sent you an email earlier, and so I appreciate your help in where we're going with the hopefully the algorithm. So if you want to take a look at that later and look what I did with the playlist and stuff, so we'll see what happens. Marine, I'd like a day of road trips to think things through. Maybe you will find inspiration for a path forward. Yes, thank you. Tammy is checking in. Hey, how are you? I am good, Tammy. I hope you are well. I really do. Glad you're here, Tammy. Rick, if the toothbrush was not invented in Kentucky, it would be called the teeth brush. Yeah, you're right. Leonard, when you lived in Pennsylvania, did you ever go to hunt wild turkeys? No, I did not. I did some deer hunting. Never hunted turkeys. So, Mike Kolomeyer, that's my guess. Praise for him and his family. Health problems suck. I know way too well. Well, I'm glad you're here, Mike. I don't remember that name before, so give you a bell for being here. Dawn, hope all goes well, Jerry. Yes, thank you, Dawn. Glad you're here. Let's see. Richard Vogel. Good evening, Barry. Great to see you back in the shop. Hope you are doing well. Glad you're here, Richard. Thank you for that. Michael Pagliarini. Hello, all from cold Rhode Island. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Got to spend time with my girls and their family. So that was a great day. Awesome. Glad you're here, Michael. Dawn. Hello, everyone from cold, clear PDX. Glad you're here, Dawn. I gave you a bell earlier. Car Guy Troy, Nick's video was great. I thought, nice car for sure. Yes, I agree. Tammy, hey guys, Charles' wife planning to finish Slither. So there you go. Glad you're here, Tammy. Really am. Mark Watson, good evening from just up the road. It is great to see you tonight. Well, glad you're here, Mark. Rallycat, Harvey, nice job on the video and very cool car. Glad you're here, Harvey. Nick, haha, thanks guys. I need something to do since I'm resting the wing. My arm's coming around pretty good though. And Tammy says, keep the tubs. So there you go. There's the response. Thank you, Tammy. Jerry is checking in. Howdy, Barry. Howdy, y'all. I'm working. I'm working. See ya. Buckeyes made me sad. Well, glad you're here, Jerry. Ray says, out of curiosity, how old was Charles? He was 66. 66. Tommy had a frustrating week looking for a harmonic balancer for a 69 Mustang, 250 inline six. Seems to be made from unobtainium. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where you'd find one of those, but I'm sure that would be a hard thing to find, actually. Ray Buckman says, sincerest condolences, Mrs. Busby. And Evan also says, I'm so sorry, Tammy. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's been a challenge to try to be healthy and want to come out here and do these sort of things and work on the car. There's a lot that I have to do to finish up the sheet metal, which will happen. And as Tammy had said, we're going to keep the mini tub, so that's cool, not a problem. There's some other things we'll have to obviously discuss moving forward with the project and make sure we're on the same page and just try to resolve a lot of this. There's a lot on Tammy's plate right now, a lot, and so never easy. It's never easy. Let's see, Terry Keithley, prayers and Godspeed, Tammy, to you and your family. We on this channel are like a family. Everyone supports each other, and Barry is our leader. Well, thank you, Terry. And Leonard is saying, sorry for your loss, Tammy. Yes. Okay. Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have Robert join us, I think. I'm not sure. Oh, there he is. Okay. He looked like he's in a little temporary window. And he would look like he was frozen in place for a second there. So let's bring on Robert and see what he has going on in his shop. So there we go.
Hang on.
Whoops.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I was watching you on the TV, so that's why I was. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Well, yeah. Sorry about that.
No. No, that's all fine. But on Charles, though, there's nothing I can say that hasn't already been said.
Yeah.
And the one thing I will bring up is there's not many people that want to build a car that get the opportunity to do what he was doing with you.
That's true.
When you took on the project, I can just imagine how excited he was when you took it on, and and from that point on, he had to have a ball. He had to have been having a ball doing it.
Yeah.
Because it's you get to that point, it's like I'm finally gonna get the car that I want, and and so.
Well, like I said, after that last live stream, and he wasn't feeling well. He laid down, and we all. I've made this analogy before, that with friends, that we're all time travelers, right? So every time we go to bed, and go to sleep, we wake up later. So we're technically traveling through time. Unknowingly, and whenever we go to sleep, to be honest, we're anticipating that we're going to wake up, and for many people that doesn't happen. They get to that, it happens. I mean, it's part of life. So I know it was unexpected, but like I said, I would, if I'm going to go out, I'd rather go to sleep and be done.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean that's just seems like such a better way. But anyway.
Yeah. And it's that's kind of like the story with me getting my '66 Mustang. It was a friend of mine's that belonged to his mom, and unfortunately, she had a stint and then got back home and had was home for about a week or so. They, found her on the floor and, almost, ice cold, got her into the hospital. And She was there for probably about 2 weeks or so. Just
Yeah.
they don't know if she was, cognizant at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it would have made it even more rough is a friend of mine. I've been friends with him forever. He is not. How do I put this nicely? It was developmental problems, as over time. So he,
Okay.
great guy, but just doesn't understand a lot of things. And
Right.
so I spent probably most of those 2 weeks that she was in the hospital. And any chance I got, I mean, I was up there, just because I had to explain things to him, and it just, somebody had to be there to help him out, to explain all that to him,
Sure.
and that was a rough couple weeks there.
Yeah.
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 And then it was actually about 4 or 5 years ago, and then I wasn't there, and then it was actually Thanksgiving night that she passed away,
Oh.
like
Okay.
4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a rough one.
Yeah.
That was rough.
Um. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
So I saw your latest video where you're working
I'm,
on the Explorer rear end.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't. I hear you laughing, but you had some good quips in there. You had some really good quips.
Oh, I was we were talking about motivation to work on stuff.
Yeah.
And just kind of let's kind of play into it. Just our summers are miserable. It is so miserable in my shop. I can't work in here in the summer. I'm trying
Right.
to fix that and make that better.
Sure.
But even when it gets to the point where the weather starts getting nicer, then you get to the point where it's just getting that motivation to start up again. It's like and then you get out here and you sort like you, and then you're thinking, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, and then you start looking around. It's like I got all these half a dozen ways I want to go, but I don't. I'm missing something for this. I'm missing something for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You don't have anything you can just go at it and do. And when I was working on that, it was one of those, I had to kind of force myself to do it and film it and edit it. And I was dealing with that, a lot of footage that got lost. And
The GoPro world.
yeah, the usual.
Yeah.
But and it's it's just you got to try to get past that point. But it is what it is.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, it was still good video. I mean, you shared a lot of good information in there,
yeah,
and
yeah. My videos are boring and too long, but I try to put information. So
well,
you know,
now here's a question I have. I know that the concept of those is to uh, take an axle from one housing and
hmm
put it in the other housing. So you're going to use the two short axles, is that right?
hmm yeah.
Okay. So whenever you do that, is it and maybe I don't think you covered this. I don't know. Um, do you unweld a tube?
Well, the little plugs that are the little ones that always weep on you,
Yeah.
where they plug it in. You can actually drill those out, remove all that, and using hydraulics and stuff, you can pull that pipe
Pull that
out,
sleeve
cut
out.
it off, put it back in, redo the plugs. You can do that.
Okay.
Um, as long as you cut a nice, perfect, clean 90 off on the end, it just press right in, perfect and good to go.
Okay.
That's what you can do it that way. I'm not. I'd like to, if I had the stuff set to do it, I would do that. I
Right.
just don't have the stuff to make that happen. So what I'll end up doing is just basically making a cut. And so here's the axle flange, cut here and a cut here. And you take about, what is it? No, don't get me right doing numbers. I'm going to mess it up. So if I say it right now,
Okay.
but yeah, you just cut a section out, cut it, and then butt it back together, weld it up. I should be cutting that this weekend. I've got all the mounts and stuff that's all cut off the tubes.
Okay.
That made a mess. I was, instead of using the plasma cutter, I was using the grinder, and I was like, I should have used the plasma cutter.
Yeah.
Because the grinding dust it goes everywhere.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's actually rear end's actually right here,
Oh,
right
okay.
in front of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, use two of the short axles, and I got I actually went a little bit of a drive to pick this one up, but I got this entire rear end for essentially the price of just the short axle that I needed. So everything else was just a bonus.
Yeah.
And it had 355 gears. So now I'll get another 373 from the yard. I'll shorten both of them, weld them both up. You know, the 373 will be a posi. This one obviously won't. That's why I got it so cheap. But I can, if I don't like I'll do the 373. I'll put it in the car. If I don't like it, then I can take the posi from that, throw that in this one with these gears because I don't want to reset gears because I
Yeah.
don't want to
Yeah.
reset pinion depth. So I'll just move the carrier to this one and then throw that in the car. Or if I come across another posi, I can just, put it in there and have a 355 and a 373,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
That's kind of the plan at the moment.
So what transmission are you using?
Not a clue.
Well, I mean, you're going automatic?
It'll be automatic. It'll be probably the one of the 4 speeds. I know the
Like-
five. There is the 5 speed that has some issues, especially
Right.
stock.
But like
And
the
6 speed,
4R70 or something?
I forget. And it's a somebody out there will know. I don't remember
Yeah.
offhand, but the 5R something.
Well, I think in the convertible car, it was a 4R70W is what
Yeah.
was
Well, there's a
provided.
5 speed, and then there's a 5 speed automatic a little
Okay.
later.
But is there enough to justify the 5 speed? Is kind of where I'm getting.
Probably not. Just go with the 4R70 because it's cheaper and
Well,
available.
here's where I'm getting at, because if I'm going to, I debated on putting a 4 or 5 speed into my Mach 1,
Mhm.
but the reality is it was an automatic car,
Yeah.
and I don't know with the knee problems I've been having. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know that it's worth it to put a manual transmission in for no gain other than
Mm-hmm.
hey, it's got a 4 speed or a 5 speed. So I will probably be looking at some sort of automatic, and I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know which one's better than the other. Now, I've got a friend who builds transmissions, so he should be able to hook me
Yeah.
up one way or another.
And the 4R70 is kind of like that's like the 700R4 of Fords
Okay.
or 4L60. That's kind of the Ford version of that.
Okay.
And then later on they came out with a 5 speed, and I don't even know what that actually bolts up to either, because I get confused on Ford stuff, what bolts to what, even into the newer stuff. So
Yeah.
and I, like I said, I know there were some issues with that 5 speed. It would be kind of nice to have that extra little bit of gearing if I did a 373. But
Yeah. If you had a 373, yeah.
exactly. But the 4R70 is just kind of the default.
Yeah.
Like it's like putting a 700 or 4L60 in, and you're not going to be doing down the freeway all the time, so
No.
it'll be fine no matter what.
Well, I mean, I could probably get away with a 3 speed, to be honest, but
Yeah.
I'm going to want to put the 4 speed in it automatic, so I just have to get on that path at some point.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I wanted to comment on, with the Mach 1, I ended up with a bunch of extra stuff, right? So like I had that Cleveland motor and FMX. I've got a buyer in Florida, who wants the Cleveland motor.
Oh, nice.
So I'm gonna be, making that connection,
Mm-hmm.
and in the same time, I'll probably be visiting, Tammy and
Mm-hmm.
and looking at what's there and different things. But also, I will pick up the rotisserie from down there.
Mm-hmm.
So make it all kind of a working trip to get it all in one shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, I know I've had some people have asked me about that car or the engines and stuff like that. Now, the other thing that I'm probably going to do is the original Windsor motor that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to crack it open.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do anything. It's going to go on a stand in the back of the garage. I have another Windsor motor from a later model. I don't know what year exactly, but it's a later model that I'm going to hand over to my buddy who built the engine for Jade. And I'm going to say, here, build me a stroker engine. Let me know when it's
Okay.
done.
Yeah.
So that's my plan right now, is to build a stroker motor for
And-
my Mach 1.
And Jade sounds really good.
It does.
Jade
It does.
sounds
I can't
really
argue that,
good. Really good.
But that's kind of my plan.
And what I want to say wasn't it was like the was it like the early '90s on the 351s? Weren't they? I think they were all roller
Yeah,
motors.
at a certain point they were roller motors, and this one I don't think is a roller motor, but he can make it a roller motor for
Okay.
me. So that's what
I
we're going to do.
I am these days. I'm very against regular camshafts anymore,
Yeah,
and we all know how bad the lifter situation is for all engines, unless you're lucky and you're at a swap meet and you find some 30-year-old or even 25-year-old 25-year-old
yeah,
lifters, because
old
the new
lifters.
ones are they're hit or miss now. You don't know if you're going to wipe a cam out or not on startup.
Yeah, let me get caught up on a couple here. Uh, Nick had said, "Man, that's young. So sorry for your loss, Tammy," and he corrected him, made Tammy. Dave Conville checking in. Good evening, evening, Dave. Glad you're here. Nick says, "I've done a lot of time traveling this month for sure." Yeah, I was talking about sleeping. So yeah, and also, you know what I found funny is that since the body is done, now I miss the welding work and fab. I don't like body filler still, though. I really miss having my Bridgeport. Yeah,
Hmm.
Bridgeports would be handy. I don't have any room for such a machine.
Yeah, I keep looking for a lathe and a mill, and
Yeah,
then if I were to find one, I'm like, where do I put?
yeah,
I'll
can't
find a place to put it.
yeah. Bad Harry is checking in. You got an email from him earlier today. Apparently, he had some issues. I don't know. He didn't go into detail, but he's on the mend or on the plus side of things. So I'm glad Harry is here. Terry says, "You're a good person, Robert, even though you like that Wolverine song." Okay. Maybe he means Jerry likes the Wolverine song.
Oh, I just make sure that I call her when she's at the airport in Cleveland. I make sure her phone rings.
Oh, I gotcha.
Everybody can hear it
I
because
got
that's
it.
her ringtone.
Okay. Nick says, "I'd love to make me a custom billet twist on gas cap. As cool as the pop open looks, it would be neat to have something I made." Yeah,
Hmm.
well, that's a possibility, I guess.
Hmm.
Evan's Garage, hi. Oh, ha. I both can't wait for metalwork to be done and am dreading the bodywork. Yeah. Mike Pagliarini, Robert, what is the measurement from flange to flange you're looking at? I did axle seals on a 11 Ranger today, and it was 52.8.
On the stock rear end, I don't remember offhand what it is on these things, and I want to say on the Mustang that the five on it's like 42 inches, I believe, on the
Mm,
Mustangs.
42 sounds narrow.
And it could I don't remember. I have them written
I think it's
down.
52.
I can't remember. That's why I write them down
Yeah,
somewhere.
I think it's 52. I think
You
52
sounds
for the
good.
65 or 6. I
Good.
think.
It's why that's why I write things down, because I can't remember those things
Yeah.
correctly anymore. But but on here it's just like it doesn't matter where they are because they're not going to be usable. So you just
Yeah.
whack them off and go. That said, I have actually they're right here. Those they are some beefy things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they are thick. I
Wow,
mean,
that is thick.
yeah, I mean, to the point where I'm like, I don't know if I want to put that in scrap pile. I might need that piece.
Yeah. Use it as a bucking bar.
Yeah, exactly. I'm serious. It's heavy enough.
Yeah, I can see that. Nick says, "I'm gonna tell you, man. As weird as it may is, as weird as it is, you may just miss it, Evan. Especially after the reward of completing it. Yeah, that's why I just keep on welding stuff. I love welding. So
That's yeah. Even me. When I get to the end of the sheet metal work, and I'm kind of like, yeah. Then you're into the tedious phase. You
yeah.
know, the making everything just perfect, and yeah.
Troy, I dig the welding too. Have plenty to do. My old welder died a couple of weeks ago. I was crapped out pretty bad. Got over it pretty quick though with the upgrade I made. New welder is great. That's awesome.
Hmm.
Rick Gain, will the spline count on the 355 be the same as on the 373?
Yeah, it's the same. It's just a different gear. It's just different gears in it. From
Okay.
all the what I was looking at, even the carriers are the same. Because like on GMs, it's like 327 and up, or 327 and down, or I forget what or 34, depending on what they're in. There's different carriers because of the thickness of the gear, but you don't change this. Nothing changes with the splines. It's just a different gear count, and it just all swaps out from what
Okay.
researching part numbers.
That's a good question though, Rick. Thank you for that. Evan's Garage, I enjoy the metalwork, just would also like to have it done. Yeah, I understand that. Delmarine, question tonight is: do we spend all our hard-earned money and spend time in the garage having fun with our cars, or do we save it for all the kids and family? I like a balance. That's a good question, but yeah,
Both at the same
both.
time.
Yeah, I guess
Get
if
the
I
kids and the
would
family involved in the cars, and then you kill two birds with one stone.
well, that's why I wish my kids, my boys especially, would have been more involved with the cars because
Hmm.
well, it's too late for that. I got to rely on the grandson. Got to rely on him coming and joining me. Nick, I heard that it's a love hate thing for sure. Evan says, kids, what are those? Yeah.
Those are the things that live halfway across the country.
Yeah, or 20 minutes away.
That's too close. Closer than an hour, hour and a half is too close.
Not for us, because the grandkids live there too. So that's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
that's another reason it needs to be at least an hour, an hour and a half.
Uh, which Nick says what you do is buy the kids Sanders so they can help. There you go. That's a good answer. I actually have a picture of my daughter at probably age, I don't know, 11 or 12, something like that, maybe 13, block sanding a car for me at the body shop. So, and she was very good at it. She listened and did exactly what I told her to do, and that's how that's supposed to go. The Dawn, best line from Robert's video on a strip bolt. This is what the whole part of, why she said, call it the Infernal Craftsman, so now you understand. I liked your line where you said something to the effect of, I forget, you were pointing at the housing or something. You said, I don't know what this is, blah, blah, blah. Don't ask. So
No, what I did? I put the socket on there. Hey, the socket it fits pretty good. It seemed right. It fit pretty good. I got my electric impact out at the time because that was just handy. And I'm sitting there spinning it. And it's like, it's doing ugga and okay. And then all of a sudden it just starts spinning. And I'm like, oh yeah, that was wrong.
yeah.
And
Rick
then I
Stevens
couldn't
go
find a
ahead.
12-point socket to go on it.
Yeah. Rick Stevenson for the 351 Windsor, the factory roller camp started in 1994. Thank you, Rick. Nick, I didn't have any room for the Bridgeport either, but it was pretty sweet. 1 ton plus table for things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Game Freak. Howdy, Barry, Rob, and chat. Hope everyone had a nice Thanksgiving. Glad to hear Game Freak. Nick says, man, I need to watch more Robert stuff. I swear I had him subscribed, but I guess it fell off. I'll correct it shortly. Okay, yeah.
Now, just make sure you watch Barry stuff. That's all I'm worried about.
But Robert has some good stuff, just like Dawn. Dawn's manufacturer has some great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Car Guy Troy, 52 inches on the Mustang axle.
Okay.
57 to 59, full-size Ford 9 inches, the same, and bolts right in. Getting hard to find, though. You can put them in a 67 to 68 car and run a little bigger tire. That's exactly what's in Jade. It's a 59, like, Mercury station wagon housing. And I have 9-inch rims underneath the back, and I had to put spacers on. Well, the car actually came with spacers on the end of the axle, because that's how narrow it was.
Well,
so it's an oddity.
Mine had a 70 Maverick rear end on it.
Okay.
When I got it, it was a mixture of stuff that was just bolted onto this, and I'm looking at it and running the numbers like, this is just goofy.
Yeah.
And it took a while to figure out what it was, but it was a Maverick rear end.
Okay. Nick says one too many Duggas.
The socket survived just fine.
Yeah.
And then, to be honest, the bolt, it's still usable. It'll still torque and work fine. So
yeah, it'll be fine.
It's all good.
Dave Tyson, remember days of left-handed lug nuts? Yes. That was a big time Mopar thing. I don't know if anybody else ever did that. I know that Mopar for sure had left-handed lug nuts.
I want to say like early GM stuff at one time did it. And I could be wrong, but I want to say that it was like really early stuff. I want to say they did it at some point. I could be totally wrong on that.
All I know is Dodge did it. I feel like there was somebody else that did it, but Dodge Yeah.
and how many people still will strip out lug nuts on Chryslers today? You know, when they're working on an older one,
Yeah.
just don't know.
Yeah.
Good reason to just
And I
replace them all with standard right hand thread.
and I think it was the passenger side that had the left-handed threads because they were talking about the rotation of the wheel and it forces the lug nuts to stay tight. I don't know. I don't remember
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I don't. It was some idiotic thing. It really
It doesn't.
was.
We all realize it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just put right-handed ones on all of them. That way, if
Yeah.
for
Just
some
fix it.
reason somebody else takes
Yeah.
it
Just
off, it,
drive the studs out and put the right
yeah,
ones in.
yep.
Nick says I love Don's stuff. You can tell he has some extra smarty pants. It's almost intimidating.
Well, I'm gonna probably copy and steal some of his ideas,
Well, sure. Nothing wrong with that.
change them up a little bit, but
Let's see. Lout Burns. I learned a lot from you. Just finished my old race car, Boss 9. Awesome. Glad you're here, Lout. That's a new name.
hmm
Nick, Dave, I actually do. I kind of snapped some driver's side lug nuts off my Roadrunner when I was 16. Yeah.
not hard to do.
Yeah. And it got the right hand mod after that. So good call. Car Guy Troy, Lincoln Versailles rear end works too, but hard to find, and super heavy factory disc brakes though. That's actually what's in my brother's Studebaker. Is a Lincoln Versailles
Oh, I
rear
remember
end
that now.
with
Yeah,
disc brakes. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's not coming out. It's going to stay there.
And to me, and a lot of guys will say, "Well, use this rear end from this car and this one from that one." It's like, where do you find that stuff anymore?
Yeah.
Because none of those cars are in yards anymore.
No.
They were gone 30 years ago. At least in my neck of the woods,
Well,
you're not going to find anything older than really early 90s anymore, unless it's some little yard that keeps their stuff forever. Most yards, it comes in, it sits there for 2 or 3 months, and it's out the door. It's getting crushed and it's gone.
yeah.
And nobody keeps anything.
That's what's funny about the Versailles is, of course, my brother had extensive junkyard knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
and so I remember him telling me the story. He went to this junkyard and he saw that Lincoln Versailles sitting in the back, and he knew exactly what it was. He knew,
Mm-hmm.
and he said that he asked the guy. He said, "What do you get for rear ends out of whatever?" And the guy was like, "Oh, $100, whatever one." He just like
Mm-hmm.
he just blew him off and said $100.
Mm-hmm.
My brother said, "All right, I want that one." And he I don't know if he took it out or one of their guys went and chopped it out or whatever. And he brings it back up, and the guy was like, "Oh, wait a minute, that one's no." And my brother said, "You told me $100." And the guy was like, "Arr!" And he sold it to him for $100.
Yeah.
So he made a heck of a deal on it.
Yeah, let's say the yard that I usually go to, I want to say their pricing on rear ends is like anywhere from 100 to 250, depending on what it is. But they do have set prices, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah,
And they are a little higher on their prices, but they've got gravel everywhere. All the cars are up off the ground.
yeah, yeah.
It's easy to work on things. And I mean, you've seen the picture of that rear end. That was one
Yeah.
out of the junkyard. And all the vehicles are like that, so they're easy to work on. And so you pay a little more,
Right.
but it makes your life so much easier when you're at the yard
Oh,
doing
yeah.
it. And I was looking at a few of them on eBay. It's like I'm half tempted to maybe just buy a couple of them, bring them home, and throw them on eBay and sell the ones I don't want.
Or you could mod them and then sell them.
Yeah, exactly.
Say this is ready to go, cleaned
Mhm.
up, ready to go,
Yeah,
painted.
and the Jeep guys go after them too.
Okay.
Yeah, because they'll put them in Jeeps too.
Rich Reed said the driver's side for the Mopars with lug nuts. Rick Stevenson, my 74 F350 had left-hand lug nuts on the left side. So that would be the driver's side as well. And Dave Tyson also says driver's side. So the Dawn, the 38 Studebaker Commander has left-handed lug nuts. Okay, I'll take your word on that one. Dave Conville, early Willie's Jeep pickups had the reverse lugs. I found that out the hard way once. So, okay, I'll bet. Rick Gain, Chrysler driver's side before 1970 are left-handed thread. Okay. I I know I had to break a lot of those loose. Delmarine, good night. Time to put the Bambino to bed. Take care. Glad you're here.
And speaking of Jeeps,
Okay.
yeah.
What's up with that?
Um, well, she was on a layover up in
Okay.
Lexington, Kentucky. It's
Yeah.
one I actually went on her. She had 1 30 hour when I went with her one time. I thought about going this time but it got in the day before Thanksgiving, and I was like, I'm a little antsy about non-rev and doing
Yeah.
that. But she was walking around and she said, "Do we need a Jeep?" And I told her, like, if you could put that in the check luggage, I'll take it.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun toy. But I told her, as soon as I'm done with it, we're going to have to get rid of it, because if you drive it or I drive it, nobody's going to enjoy it, because they don't ride well.
No. No.
They're
Jeeps
not
don't
fun to
ride well.
drive,
No.
as far as I'm concerned.
No. Dawn says, that's great. I stole a few ideas too. Talking about from videos. KG, howdy. Morse Minor had left hand threads on lug nuts and
Bearing nuts.
bearing nuts. Okay.
Yeah, the wheel bearings. So the wheel bearing to me would make sense for that.
Yeah,
to be
that would make sense.
left hand. Yeah.
Doyle, my son, I don't know, SOS, son or significant other, I don't know. 61 Buick LeSabre had left-hand threads on the passenger side. Maybe some other GMs too, supposed to tighten as you drive. Okay.
Wonderful. So when you get there, you can't get them off.
Yeah. Ed, the differential ring on the Chrysler was held on by left-hand threads.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's pretty
So
common.
they did a lot of, apparently Dodge did a bunch of dumb things.
Well, and I know on the GMs, the ring gears are left-handed as well, just because
Okay.
of the direction. Does it really matter? Oh,
KG says wheel bearing nuts. Okay. Oh, lug nuts and wheel bearing nuts. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Doyle says sons, not SOS. Okay. KG, fun British standard, Whitworth sizes 2, not metric, and not SAE.
I had an 1800s bandsaw that I got rid of several years ago, and everything, all the hardware on it was Whitworth thread.
Okay, so this is a new term for me.
British.
I don't even. I've never heard that before. What is
It's
Whitworth?
it's not standard. It's not metric. It's British.
Oh,
So and some of them are really close. They were like really close to, I want to say 7/16 or something. They're close, but they're not the same. They're like they'll start to, some of them would like start in there, but if you ran it in there, you'd destroy it. And back in the days when everybody had to come up with a standard.
well, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
on the aircraft. Sheet metal. You'd have panels that you'd open up. It had Phillips screws.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that wasn't good enough. You had to go to a tri-wing.
Yep.
So a tri-wing is like 3 blades that are angled.
Yep.
So then they went to like the swastika looking one. It's got 4 of those.
Yep.
I mean,
Well,
why?
and then the funny thing is, the tri-wing, what was it? That was Lockheed.
Yeah.
And it's still around, but now it's used as security, security type bolts, and it's still around, unfortunately. But yeah, and I've got a bunch of the bits for those weird.
Well, you look at all
and
the stuff,
screws.
even like in the wood industry. They went from a Phillips, well, a flathead, let's say to start with, to a Phillips style, and then they went to like I don't even know what they call them. You got variety, like a star, you got the square drive, and Torx, and all these variations now, which actually makes sense. It does work well. I can say that. Phillips, normally you drive something in and it would slip out and cause problems, but those new ones, those things work.
The Torx and square I like, and then to get more complicated, is that a Japanese motorcycle or a Japanese car you're working on? That's not a Phillips. That's a JIS.
Oh, okay.
If you look at the head of the screw on them, there'll be a little dot off to the side. In the head,
Okay.
Here's the head. There'll be like a little dot over here.
Yeah.
That dot means it's a JIS. It's not the same taper. It looks like a Phillips.
Is that like Japanese International Standard or something?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a different taper. And then you've got the ones that, the Posi drive, which is big in Europe, with it looks like a Phillips, and then between every, say, every one here, there's a tiny little, little hash mark in each one of them. You'll see them in the
Yeah.
screws. And once you use those and use the right drivers, it's like, why do we have Phillips anymore?
Right.
Because you can actually put those screws on a driver and they stay on, and you can reach up and put it
Yeah.
in there.
Well,
And
and then you have the read and prints too,
yeah,
which is another variation of the Phillips.
hmm
So, yeah, everybody
more
had to
fun,
redesign the
more
wheel.
proprietary stuff.
Yeah. Troy says that 8.8 you're doing is kind of the go-to for
hmm
everything. Most are traction lock 373 gears. Good
Yep.
setup.
Yeah, it's you're getting disc brakes, you're getting traction lock, you're getting a better ratio, you're getting a stronger rear end, all in one package for a very reasonable price,
Yeah.
all said and done. And
Oh,
then the 67.8, if you don't want to shorten it, you don't have to.
okay.
Your drive shaft to be a little closer to the floor pan over here,
Offset. Yeah.
but you don't have to. And most wheels and tires will tend to fit. And,
Huh.
and
Interesting.
just a matter of putting mounts on there, but it does have a flange on the pinion instead of the normal yoke. So
Okay.
you need the part for that.
Yeah, you got to modify a drive shaft.
Yeah, and then if you can use the aluminum drive shaft out of them in
Okay.
certain stock applications. The 8-inch, I think it's longer, so I don't think it works in there. I
Yeah.
don't think its board shaft works with that rear end because I think it's longer this way. Could be wrong. I haven't measured that, but
Okay.
yeah, more interchangeability stuff.
Nick's using big words now. We got to be careful. There's a plethora of studs on Marketplace St. Louis right now. Just saying for anyone that might need some irresponsibleness in their life. That would be great, Nick. Give me a set of doors for a 64 Commander 2-door post.
If
That's all
if
I need. Just a good
if
set of doors.
if I were to ever get a Studebaker, it'd be the truck.
The Champ,
Yeah,
like the
it's just,
60, the early 60s one.
yeah.
Or
I'm not too picky about it because it's kind of like you take what you can get these days.
well, like because I had a 48
hmm
with the tapered nose.
Yeah,
They're ugly so much that you have to like them.
yeah.
They're just that ugly.
It's something that you could drive in is unique.
Yes. And
Everybody's
then
like, what is that? And,
yeah, then you come to the 49 to 53, 55, somewhere in that range. It's more truck, modern style. And then I forget what year the Champ was modeled after the Lark, and it came out I think in 58 or 59. So the Champ is like your car-ish pickup truck. The only problem with that, the Champ, I love the Champ, I really do. It's a great looking cab. It has great windows, all that stuff, but they didn't know what to do with the beds.
yeah,
So the bed on that truck, they just made a square box, and so you had this nice streamlined cab, and then these corners sticking out where it's like, what?
Well, it's kind of like it's like why couldn't they go like the El Caminos did later on where you curved it in? If they had done that kind of styling on that Studebaker, it would have been even
Yeah,
better. It
yeah.
would have been
I
really
mean,
nice.
the Champ. The only thing, if you got a step side bed, it wasn't as bad, But
It's not
but the
for now.
bed didn't match the shape of anything
No.
because you had the style of the Lark in the front, and then either the step side bed, which didn't match anything, or this box that just stuck up. I'm like,
Well, I think it was kind of like this, like, well, we've got this. Well, let's go with this, but we're just going to put a practical bed on the back of it.
right
Square is practical for that. So
for that, yeah. Let's see, Robert, the Exploder 8.8, is that a posi? Didn't look like one.
no, this one's not. That's why it was so cheap. And like I said, I bought it just for the axle alone. Just this axle right here alone, and then I've got a set of 355 gears. I've got a housing. I've got bits and pieces and calipers, and
Yeah,
and
parts.
I
Pieces and
couldn't.
parts.
Yeah, and I can screw this one up and then do the next one right too.
There you go.
That's the other thing.
Nick says, well, considering the last thing left of, I know he says Mopars, are the wheels sitting inside of a rust stain? I guess the threads worked. They stayed with the car. Okay. Tommy, Whitworth wrenches are not the same as metric or SAE. That's just
Yeah.
throw those away. KG size by threads, not head size. Thread
Mm-hmm.
pitch is different too. Had to buy new tools and tap die set.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that just no. KG,
Mm-hmm.
then there's British Standard Fine too. Ugh,
Yep.
yeah, yeah, not no. Well, it's like the Model A. All the bolts in the Model A are fine thread. All of
Mm-hmm.
them. Like if you're holding the floor together,
Mm-hmm.
it was a fine thread with a square nut and a machine screw head.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was fine thread.
It's just I'd like to know the reasoning for that. I mean, it is stronger. Fine
Yeah,
threads
it is.
are actually
It gets you
stronger.
a little more bite,
Yeah,
but
but they are less. They're more temperamental. Let's put it that way.
yeah,
To dirt and gunk and messing things up, and when they get stuck, they're harder to come out. And
yeah. Dave Tyson Johnson outboard had posi drive screws.
hmm
That's a new one. Gene, hey all, did the 8.8 swap in my 66 coupe. Did all the mods at home. Most bang for the buck.
hmm
Glad to hear, Gene. Nick, I just like the Three Amigos. Not entirely sure what a plethora is. Well, it's a good word though, Nick. So here's a couple bells for that. Nick says they ran out of material at the bed. Right angles is all they could afford. Yeah, that's pretty accurate there.
Or they
Gene says
ran
I
out.
paid.
They ran out of budget at the end.
Yeah, they ran out of budget. Gene says I paid $250 for a 2001 Explorer Posi 373.
Mhm. And that's kind of if I want to go to the yard and get one that's like I said, like in my video, the picture of the one, I can go get one that's a beautiful rear end. No rust, none of that. That's kind of a price range that I'm going to be looking at from a yard here.
Yeah,
I can get them from other yards, but for one, doing it by myself to start with is a pain in the butt. At least if I do it by myself there, it's easier to get out. If I go to these other yards, these things may be sitting in the mud, and
oh yeah,
or
yeah,
you pay extra for them to pull it out, and then it's going to be beat up. And these things on these cars, there's nothing wrong with them. The shields aren't bent up. They're just, you know,
yeah,
essentially as perfect as you can get.
yeah. That's good. It's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, the 11 Ranger was 4x4 disc brake with LSD. Didn't check the gears. What's LSD?
Limited slip.
Limited slip. There we go. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if you're looking at the door tag on these things, if the axle code starts with a D, that means it's a limited slip. So if
Oh.
you're going around the yard, just to start with, just look at that. If the axle code doesn't start with a D, just keep walking.
Okay. Doyle, my wife and I dated in a 62 Champ 6-cylinder with pull tab overdrive. She would love to find it. She might even let me buy another project. Yeah. I mean, they were good looking trucks. They really were.
Would that have been a Hone overdrive in those two?
I don't
I
know.
don't know of anybody else that made them back then. I mean, there may have been. I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, I don't. I know that a lot of Studebakers had some sort of overdrive
Mm-hmm.
configuration built into them. So,
Yeah, Hone is the only one I can think of and those things were built like a tank.
yeah. Michael says, is the 8.8 better than the factory 8-inch? Nick says, yes, it is stronger. I would assume it would be stronger, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nick says, especially after you weld the tubes to the center.
Mm-hmm.
So
I may or may not do that. I'm never going to put that much power through it. So
but you like welding.
yeah, it's true. Being excused. On my Christmas list is a nice big tall argon tank for TIG welding. That's on my Christmas list. It ain't going to happen, but it's on my list.
Well, maybe Santa will be nice to you.
No, actually, what's funny is, you go through, you make your list, and we do an Amazon list. And I was just, looking through Amazon, you find things, and I found a neat toy. It's fun, it's hot, and it's cold, and you can go out and play in it in the dirt and not get dirty. There's a little import mini excavator with an enclosed cab, one of those tiny little ones with the
Yeah.
little bucket and a little plow with a cab, heat, air, like 18,000 with a $18,000 for it. It's on Amazon. I was looking at that thing. It's like, I want one of those. I just want one. And it was just, I put that on my list. It's like, that ain't never going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's like, I want one of those. It's just, I want to go play,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, as we talked about it, I know that I bought one of them little or remote control excavators.
I got the same one. Yeah.
That my grandson's like, "Can I play with it?" I'm like, "Sure, go ahead." And it just doesn't do. It tracks and it turns and it beeps and your bucket
Yeah.
does its thing. So I mean, he loves it.
Well, you said you were going to get one, and then I was like, I had just got one like a week before in the mail.
Yeah, yeah,
And I was like, for the price, I was like, I paid like $3 for mine.
yeah,
Because it popped and say, hey, what do you want? We saw you looking at this. We'll offer it to you for $3 and something cents. It's like, okay,
yeah.
I will take that. I don't know what maybe I'll get, make a display thing and get a bunch of different ones and put them up there. And they're just cool.
Yeah. Troy says most of them in Rangers Explorers were traction lock, strong rear end. So there we go.
I will say the ones I find in the yard, it's half and half. It's about half and half what I'm finding in the yards, whether traction lock or not. I don't know was it more than a 6? Was it more than an 8?
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to 4-wheel drive, you won't see any here. So,
Yeah.
It's rare to find a 4-wheel drive one here.
KG says 8.8 has more aftermarket parts support too. Okay. Evan, got a scoot. Have a great night, all, and take care. Glad you're here, Evan.
Yeah.
Nick, please don't hate me, but I just heard Robert talk, and he reminded me of Mr. DNA from Jurassic Park. Sorry, my mind wanders, but I got excited for a second. I can't pull up the sound of Mr. DNA, but I do remember the little cartoon.
Yeah, that's when they're that's when they're sitting in the ride room thing and going around. And, yeah. Yep. I remember that.
Let's see. So Rick says, is it free Prime shipping for the excavator on Amazon?
I think it was free shipping. I kind of looked at it. I didn't see a shipping cost on there, so I'm assuming it showed up at the door.
I would hope.
Yeah, and I was just like, that'd be a handy little toy.
Well, did they have those little Japanese trucks you like so much? Are they on there?
No, I hadn't found those on there. And there's a dealer, 45 minutes from me, a little further out of town, that they sell brand new ones of those. They import brand new, those Japanese K trucks, and brand new ones, but you can't, obviously you can't register them to drive on the road. But I tell you, I do see a lot of those older ones. The railroad has them. Yeah. You'll see them next to the railroad tracks because they use them for working on the railroad stuff, because that's perfect. You just need something little that can carry stuff back and forth. Doesn't cost much. They don't.
I don't know what the restrictions are here in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
But I have seen one at the bank, driven to the bank.
But there's a few states that are really cracking down on registering them in their state is the problem.
Right.
The 25-year and older ones. But there's a few in here. When you read through the Texas thing, it says basically you can't do it. But I've heard people say that they've been able to register theirs. I don't know how that works. And then the next year rolls around, are they going to let you register it again? Maybe they catch it or something.
Well, what you do is you might accidentally find a VIN number from a Volkswagen Beetle that got stuck to it and go, it's a Volkswagen. I don't know.
Put some Volkswagen hubcaps and
on there. Yeah, and somehow that VIN number from the tranny tunnel ended up on, I don't know. I bought it this way. They told me it was a Volkswagen. That's how it works. Dave Tyson, I have a lawn tractor with a loader. Well, now you're just bragging, Dave.
Yeah, I know. I look at the Kubotas and the ones that are. It's a riding mower that wants to be a tractor, and it's like, that's a cool little toy. A bucket on the backhoe, and
my buddy Tim, who has RC Guy Garage, he's got one of those because he built his own RC track in his backyard, and so he used that thing. And I think it's a tractor, but it's got a bucket on it and whatever, and it's like this big. I see him sitting on it, and I'm like, really?
Well, but then you still have a mower deck, so you can still cut the grass.
Well, yeah. If it was a zero turn with a bucket, I might be interested.
That would be interesting to see. That would be interesting.
Terry Keith says my 01 Ranger 4x4 off-road has a 410 lockers, front and rear. Ooh,
I haven't seen a 410 yet in the yard.
yeah,
Out of any of the ones I've looked at, I have not seen. 373 is as steep as I've seen. Basically, I've only seen 373 and 355. I haven't seen anything else at the ones, a
yeah,
small sample section. I know,
yeah.
it's only been like probably 6 or 8 of them actually had. So,
So Nick is saying this is a Mach 1 excavator, sir. I think, see, Nick, what we're talking about is those little Japanese pickup trucks. They're like just wide enough for two people to sit in. They got little, like almost like 12-inch wheels on them. A little bed at the sides fold down. They're really handy around like a farm and stuff. But yeah, they don't want you to register those things. I think if you register it as a farm vehicle, I think you get away with it. I think, at least here in Georgia. Of course, now Georgia, you can take any vehicle you want, pull all the doors off of it. You can cut it down to the frame. As long as you got a VIN number on it, it's got a windshield and some lights on it. They're like, yeah, whatever, we don't care. So maybe it is okay to legal.
yeah, it's very state to state, and
So what you need to do is you buy one, and I'll lease it to you. Yeah, there you go.
yeah, and there's all sorts of cool things you can do with them
Yeah,
because the bolt pattern on the wheels is the same as an ATV.
okay.
So you can take ATV tires,
Yeah.
rims, and mount that on there, and they're 4-wheel drive, and some have a bed that lifts straight up. Some of them are a dump bed. They've got
Yeah.
supercharged ones.
So like I said, you get one, and then you sell it to me, and then I lease it to you, so you can have it registered. Registered in Georgia, and then you're borrowing it. Then they can't say anything.
Well, it's like it's like I told her, it's like if once daughter they finally get a house again, it's like I could register my trailer out there, get a lifetime plate, do
Yeah.
all sorts of things you could do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, but
Oh, I know people that do.
I would get caught and something would go wrong, and so I don't even. Yeah, I'm the type that would get caught on anything, so I don't even try.
Bad Harry says I also have the Swiss Army knife of tractors with backhoe, bucket, lawnmower, snowblower, and tiller. Kubota BX23s.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Those things are are
Yeah.
so cool. They are so cool.
Nick says, yeah, someone at work ages ago was talking about importing those. Yep. Rick says, Musty One on YouTube built one of those little Japanese trucks. Okay.
The coolest one I've seen so far, and if you had a farm or something, and this would be a really good one to buy, is you can buy them as a fire truck. Because they have those as little fire trucks for Japan,
Yeah.
and you can buy them already set up and with or without the pumps on it. And I was like, if you had a farm, I can't think of a more handy vehicle, because if you have a fire somewhere, just get in that sucker, go out there. You've got some water, some pumps,
Yep.
and you can go anywhere you want to go because it'll off road pretty much anywhere because it doesn't weigh anything.
Yeah. Don says, I thought 4x4s ran slightly taller gears in the front to prevent frogging. 410 versus 411. You're probably so.
I've heard that as well too, but I'm not into the 4x. I'm not into that, but I've heard that before.
Nick says super reliable too. That's what I hear. Roger, I think Kentucky still allows Kai trucks. We really want one for the property. Yeah.
They're not terribly expensive. A couple $1,000. Depends on what you want, age.
Yeah.
They're not really very expensive at all.
Yeah. Dave Britton says, hello, better late than never. Glad to hear, Dave. It's like our third or fourth Dave tonight. So good to have you here. And he's up in the Great White North, the frozen tundra.
Ooh.
But yeah, it's one of those things I would like to have it. Can I justify having it? No. Would it be something, fun to take and go someplace? Yeah, sure it would. But again,
it's a Home Depot runner.
Well, whenever you have the options where, like I said, the bed tailgates fold open, you can do all kinds of stuff with them.
And the insurance is next to nothing on them.
Well, yeah.
There's nothing to it. Just got to get used to driving on the right side
Yeah.
of the car.
Can't be that hard.
Nah.
Other people do it.
Oh yeah.
Dave Britt says, yeah, snow coming tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, no thanks. The Dawn says, a Sherp would be fun. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it would. I don't know if you could drive those on the road, though. That would be kind of a.
It'd be interesting.
It'd be interesting, yeah. Dave Conwell starting to see those micro trucks on the road in New Jersey, which surprises the heck out of me. Well, they probably have
Mm-hmm.
found some loophole to get them there. Nick says those mega tire apartments on wheels, Don. Yes, I would. Yeah, yeah. I mean, those things are crazy. The Sherps.
Mm-hmm.
And Dave Burton, I wonder if the Sherps come with bullet holes in them these days. They probably would. Oh.
Yeah.
And Roger says milk carriers everywhere do it. Yeah, drive on the
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Michael, no front and rear gear have to be the same, or you will grenade the transfer case. Okay.
Mm.
Talking about the 4x4s. Troy, there's a couple of those little Honda not sold here trucks running around. Can't remember the name of them. Right-hand drive. The bed looks like a mini version of a VW bus truck.
Mm-hmm.
Fold down sides. That's exactly what we're
Yep.
talking about. Nick says, I want an actual Mini Cooper, Mr. Bean style. I love those things.
Mm.
Since you brought those up, since we're on tiny or little vehicles, yes, I like the old Mini Cooper. And I don't know if you've seen those things racing.
They're quick.
They are not only quick, but I've seen racing where they've competed against top end Corvettes.
Yeah.
And the
'Cause they
Corvette
can take
can't
a
take a
turn.
turn.
Yeah, because that
thing
mini,
just goes,
the mini doesn't weigh anything. Yeah.
And it's like, gone.
The-
And then
the mini-
it'll
mini
get
can weigh.
ahead, and then the Corvette will catch it.
Yeah.
And then in the turn, the Mini Cooper outdoes it. So it's
Yeah,
really
that,
cool
but
to
that,
watch.
that little mini is, it's like a go kart. Your foot is to the floor the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it'll go around a turn, hike up the rear wheel, and just keep on going. I
Yep.
mean, there's no weight there.
Yeah. Rick says last time it snowed here in Jacksonville, December 23rd, 1989. Well, let's hope that's the last time ever. Because if you're getting snow, that means we're getting snow in Georgia, more than likely. But if you do get it, you're welcome to have our share too. Shannon Vaughn. Hi, everyone. Hi, Shannon. Glad you're here. Nick. Oh, yes. I follow David Vizard, who used to race them. They're amazing. I've driven one. They're fun. Yeah. Whenever I first saw the Mini Coopers, I really didn't know what they were, like the little, whatever.
Mhm.
But I remember some cars my dad had at the junkyard were Austin Americas,
Mm-hmm.
which reminded me somewhat of the Mini Cooper, but it was a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a couple of those Austin Americas, and you never see those
No.
anywhere. Probably a good reason for that, but
But like the mini, I'd have to sit in the back seat.
yeah. Dave Tyson says Mini had 12-inch wheels.
Yeah, they're tiny little things. Yeah.
Nick, I might have to suck in to get through the door now, though they're actually pretty roomy inside. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it's just, that's all it is, the seating area.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much else in there.
No, make it like the Isteto, where the whole front opens up. and
Yeah, there you
sit
go.
inside.
The Dawn says, got to go, gang. Enjoyed the night. Thanks, Barry. Thumbs up all. Yes.
Yeah.
Glad you're here. Yeah. We probably don't have very much longer for me to
Yeah.
stay on. I'm already tired.
And I can imagine. I can imagine because
But, yeah.
yeah, that stuff's not fun. Yeah, when you catch that stuff, and she gave me that crud on the way down to Houston last year, and I'm driving back, coming up, because I got sick while we were down there, doing our tour,
Yeah.
and I tell you that that night, I told her, in the hotel, I told her we're going home in the morning. She says, well, because she wasn't feeling good, and I was starting to get bad. So we're going home in the morning. Got up in the morning, loaded everything up, and go. I cannot think of any other time where I have been so exhausted driving because I know I don't feel good, and I'm paying so much attention to everything.
Yeah.
You are so focused on what's in front of you, what's behind you, because you don't feel good. You're forcing yourself to focus so much. And I mean, we got back home, and I was I got in the door, and I went and sat in the chair, and I was out. I
Yeah.
was so exhausted from that drive, and it's just like it's like we have to get home. We have
Yeah.
to get home. I got to pay attention, and
That's where
you know,
I just go through packs and packs of sunflower seeds. I just do. I mean, if I'm driving a long trip,
yeah.
sunflower seeds.
Oh, I was gonna get you a bag of candy corn.
No thanks. I won't. I will not.
I
I will
saw
not.
this like giant candy corn. It was like that big. I was gonna get and send it to you.
Yeah. No, I won't eat that. I'll just tell you now, I won't eat that. My wife would, but not me. Not me. Dave Britton, a guy near me, has an Austin Bantam baby
Mhm.
car. Yep. KG says some minis had 10-inch wheels.
Wow.
I believe that. Nick, see you, Dawn. See you guys. Take care, Tammy.
Yeah.
I olive juice, you guys.
Yeah. And if Tammy's still there after all this and not bored to death, the car's in good hands.
Yeah. Thank
You
you.
couldn't ask for
Yeah.
better.
Appreciate that. Dawn, sorry no video this week, folks. I'll be back at it. Be back at it this week. Good night. Glad you're here, Dawn.
Night.
Bet Harry says, sent you a few pictures of my Mustang build. Had to watch your videos to put the passenger side, driver side windows. Thanks so much. You're welcome. And let me see if I can download a couple of these, because I know that this was a car that we had shared pictures of before. Let me see if I can clear up some of this so I can get those pictures up, just to close out the night.
Yeah.
Um,
And the mini split working awesome.
oh yeah,
It was so nice. As I'm going home, I was like, all I had to do is push the button on there and say, warm up the shop.
yeah.
And it kicks it on and warm by the time I got home.
All right, so there's one picture of Harry's car.
Mm-hmm.
Get one more up here. So here's a nice interior shot.
Mm-hmm. Good looking wheel. I like the wood wheel.
Yeah. And then I think this is the last one, which is a shot of the engine bay.
Ooh, pretty.
Yeah, that looks really nice.
Yeah, I'm not going to be doing that.
No, but that looks pretty amazing.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's just,
Oh no, I'm with you. I'm with you.
yeah,
Well done, Harry. Well
yeah,
done.
definitely.
Okay, so with that,
Yeah.
we're gonna call it a night. Again, thanks for being here, Robert.
Oh, no
Always
problem. I enjoyed
appreciate
it.
you being part of the process. So,
I hope I didn't bore anybody to death. So,
oh no, good information again. So,
I'll see
we'll
you
catch
guys
up with you
later.
later. See you.
See ya.
Okay. So yeah, we're gonna call it a night. It's been fun. It's been good to get back on here and be talking and interact with everybody. Like I said, there's still some things we're gonna hammer out on the Slither project, but overall things are going pretty good. And I'm gonna be working on another video of some sort. So we'll get there. We'll get there. But that'll be it for tonight. And until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.